Welcome to the Bibbidi Bobbidi Basics podcast, a lifestyle podcast with a magical twist. I'm your host, Caitlin May, and I'm a self-proclaimed Disney adult and childless millennial who is obsessed with Harry Potter, Florida Sunshine, and all things basic. Here on the podcast, I chat weekly about everything Disney, Harry Potter, theme park news, and navigating my basic late 20s life. Welcome back, Magical Basics. Can you believe it is already November? Christmas is just around the corner, and we here at BBB honestly cannot wait. I'm thinking we might need a podcast Christmas tree on set soon, so let us know what you think down below if you're watching, or reach out on social media. But I am getting ahead of myself, so let's get in to the Bibbidi Bobbidi broadcast before this week's exciting guest. All right, so if you're like me, you absolutely miss the Walt Disney World Railroad. It's been closed since 2018, and according to the My Disney Experience app, the new projected opening date is pushed back to January 5th, 2022, which isn't that promising because that's the date that the hours go through. So that's not even a set in stone date for the railroad to be back open. So we definitely are looking at hopefully early to mid 2022 before we even get our railroad back. Last week, we reported on the return of meet and greets to Walt Disney World. They have also since been rebranded to character sightings, and as of a couple days ago, Fairy Tale Hall has opened and you are able to meet Rapunzel, Tiana, Cinderella, and Elena. So I, for one, am very excited to pop on in, wave hello, and get a selfie with some of my favorite princesses. Moving on over to Disneyland, the Electrical Light Parade is returning to Disneyland. As a WDW local, I am very jealous of the Disneyland locals. The parade was last in Walt Disney World in 2016 before going back to California. So if you are over in California, please be sure to go enjoy the Light Parade. Send me all of your videos and make me very jealous because that parade is so special to me. As for international parks this week, Tokyo Disneyland has announced an opening day for its new Toy Story themed resort. This will be the fourth resort on property and it will open on April 5th, 2022. Disney Cruise Line has announced that several Marvel actors have lended their voices for the new Marvel show for the Disney Wish. The show will premiere next year and will allow you to be part of your very own Marvel mission. Some actors who have lended their voices include Paul Rudd and Brie Larson. So if you know me personally, you know how exciting this news story is. There is a new pair of ears at Disney, and yes, I am pumped because clearly I have a bit of an ear collection problem. But these ears are so exciting because they are Ahsoka Tano inspired. If you aren't aware of who that is, she is one of my favorite Star Wars characters, and these ears are so fun and unique. I absolutely need them. Jonathan, please put a picture of them on the screen so everyone can see how cute they are and why I need them so badly. A beloved character is getting his very own film. A couple days ago, Disney released a teaser trailer for the new Buzz Lightyear origin story titled Lightyear. Another exciting part is Buzz will be voiced by our favorite, beloved original Captain America, Chris Evans. The Pandora store in Disney Springs will be hosting a Disney Princess concert event on November 8th from 11 to 1 p.m. One of the big names in the quartet is Annalise Vanderpool, who you may know as Chelsea from That's So Raven and Belle in the Broadway production of Beauty and the Beast. Port Orleans French Quarter has officially reopened. This makes my Cajun heart so very happy. On reopening day, cast members were giving guests Mardi Gras beads, and the resort was sporting some adorable merch. I'm so excited that Port Orleans is back open so I can go there when I'm feeling a little extra homesick. So that is everything for the Bibbidi Bobbidi broadcast this week. After our break, we will listen from one of my dearest friends, Alessandra. I'm so excited for this episode. She talks all things her funny, hilarious Disney engagement to testing out her trivia skills and just what Disney means to her personally. So I'm very excited for you to listen. But first, a quick break. Hello, Magical Basics. Have you been thinking about starting your own podcast, but you don't really know where to begin? I completely understand, because when Bibbidi Bobbidi Basics first launched, I felt the same exact way. Thank goodness I had Anchor to help me. If you've never heard of Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. I know what you're thinking. Katie, is it really that easy? Oh, it is. So let me tell you how. First, it's completely free. We love that. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. And then Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more platforms. You can even make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's literally everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Thank you so much to Anchor for sponsoring this episode. All right, today's guest I am super freaking excited about. We go back, it seriously is crazy to think that like we met like 5 or 6 years ago.
You are still Katie Stanford, my phone.
You are still Alessandra Nucio in mine. Like, we really, really were. But if you cannot tell by the title of the episode, I am sitting down with Alessandra, one of my friends from, honestly, it really does feel like another life.
It was completely like everything.
It was for sure.
I was like a child and not married and in Baton Rouge. Like there's so many different things.
Yeah. And now we live like neither of us in Louisiana anymore. Like both married, totally just like going throughout life. But it's so fun that we're able to still keep in touch. And I feel like Disney has been a really big part of that.
It really has.
So, Alessandra, tell the people what they want to know. Who are you? What do you do? What brings you to the pod?
So, I am a kindergarten teacher, which doesn't help the Disney adult in me at all.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I'm a 5th year teacher. I taught 2 years of 5th grade. Then 2 years of 1st grade, and this is my 1st year in kindergarten. I am an animal mom extraordinaire. I have 2 dogs, a bunny, a hamster, a bearded dragon, and 2 leopard geckos. The bunny has already, I think, made an appearance at one point. She was on my shoulder. She will again. Happens. And I live outside of Austin, Texas, in a city called Taylor. Town called Taylor. I'm from New Orleans though, and being from New Orleans, we had a really easy flight to Disney my whole life. So like it was just one of those things that was like slightly more convenient. So
yeah,
that definitely helped too.
Yeah, we have learned the value of the New Orleans to Orlando flight since moving here and how easy it is to get back and forth.
They're so much cheaper than anywhere else.
Oh my God, it's so true. It literally is so true. It's insane how cheap, and like the flight seems like it goes like that.
Yeah, it 100% does. And like I sleep on the plane anyway. So
Yeah.
it makes it that much easier.
Yeah, for sure. So what is your favorite Disney film?
That's such a hard question because I have favorites for certain things.
That's fair.
So like my favorite all around is probably Mary Poppins because I grew up watching that at my grandma's house when I was little. And like that was the movie she put on during thunderstorms, and I was not okay with thunderstorms. So like there were things like that where I'm sorry, I keep on checking my bunny. There were things like that where like it's more based in nostalgia. But then there are movies like Moana that I'm just like obsessed with because of the music. And like you're just not gonna get better than a movie with music written by Lin-Manuel Miranda. Like it's just not gonna get better than that. So like there's those aspects. But then you have the like original animated stuff. Right. That's like completely different. And with that, it's like Princess and the Frog, Aristocats, like where they're animated as 2D, and like that's a completely different genre. So I definitely like have my favorites, but they all have music in them. If it's not super musical, I'm not interested.
I'm not about it.
It's just kind of like, okay, good movie, but
so what would you say is your like go-to comfort Disney movie? Like if somebody was like, I've never seen a Disney movie ever in my life, I want you to show me the first one that you recommend I see, what would that be?
Princess and the Frog.
Why?
I'm 100% biased in the fact that I'm from New Orleans, and that was New Orleans princess, but it was also like the first princess that was a person of color, which I just was so excited about at the time. And like I was just so excited that Disney was branching out and like highlighting groups of people that they've never done before. And it's so homey to me. Like so many parts of it, I'm just like, oh, I love that. Like Dr. Facilier, I know he's like a horrible voodoo guy, whatever, but like there are men that walk and dress like that man down to like, there's something about it that just makes me feel so good. Yeah. And again, the music, you can't beat the music in that movie.
Yeah, I really do feel like people from Louisiana have such a soft spot for that movie because we grow up very much like not realizing that our culture is vastly different from others in the States, like in the other states. And to see it like showcased in a Disney film of all things and a Disney princess film, and like seeing people like baffled by things that we just think are normal, you know, like just, oh, that's everyday life. Like, yeah, of course, mom and dad cooked a gumbo and like invited our 3 neighbors over. Like, that's just what you do. And to see it like highlighted in such a fantastical way, like in Princess and the Frog, I think that's what really does give it a soft spot for people who are from Louisiana, because like that is like one of my top 3 Disney films, and it absolutely is because of the like comfort that it brings me.
And I think a lot of it too is like the accents. So like Ray, the firefly,
yeah, the little firefly,
like, and I say firefly, I'm adapted to Texas by now, but that's lightning bug at home. He's a lightning bug, and like I know people with those accents. And, like, people don't realize, like, people do really talk like that. It's just in different parts of Louisiana. So, like, you're not going to find Ray in New Orleans, but you're going to find Ray in Houma.
Yeah.
And, like, that's just, it's so crazy to me that they, like, made those people into these amazing characters.
Yeah, it was so fun to go to the cinema and, like, actually watch that film. And, like, I just remember my dad is, like, obviously, like, just not the biggest Disney fan. He doesn't jump at the opportunity to go see animated films. But we all went, yeah, he's a dad. We all went and watched it. And that one joke that Ray has about Shreveport, about, like, oh, I'm from a land far, far away. And he's like, oh, you're from Shreveport. My dad, like, still to this day loses it. Like, we'll quote that line.
But you don't understand it.
Is a great joke.
If unless you're not from here.
Exactly.
Because Shreveport is, like, the end of the earth for some people. And, like, really, it's just at the top of Louisiana, and the rest of Louisiana is, like, at the bottom.
Yeah, like, it's just so funny, and it was so fun, because you see films like, oh, Sleeping Beauty and Snow White, those were, Germany, and, Little Mermaid, Denmark, and yeah, that's cool. Even, like, with Frozen, like, all of the research that they did in, like, the Norse part of the world, like, yes, it's so fascinating to watch, but it was crazy to actually see, like, they did their due diligence to, like, get the accents that you will hear, to find the jokes that people like us would be like, that's hilarious, because it's so true. So yeah, I completely agree. But let's move on. I would love to know what your Hogwarts house is.
I'm a Hufflepuff.
I love that. Why are you saying that so sad?
Because people put down Hufflepuffs as if we aren't, like, okay, so I was listening to another podcast, and they were just, like, going through, and they were like, they were explaining to people who've never, like, paid attention to Harry Potter ever. And they go through and they're like, Gryffindor is, like, the brave, and Slytherin's, like, the cunning, and they said Ravenclaw are, like, the smart ones, and the girl was like, I'm a Ravenclaw, and I was like, yeah, you are. And then they get to Hufflepuffs, and they say Hufflepuffs are kind of like the dum-dums. And
I hate that people
I was so mad.
That.
And that's, like, a lot of, I think, just, like, when you sort into, like, the one word, like, when you just call it one word, it gets really, like, people think Slytherins are, really mean. And, like, that's not it at all.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'm a Hufflepuff. I'm extremely loyal. I wear my heart on my sleeve. Everything's just kind of, I am who I am. Mm-hmm. And I like that I'm Hufflepuff. I don't like the colors. I do have a problem with being the yellow and black. I'm not into that. I really wish we had a different color, but that's beside the point. But I mean, like, everything matches, like, a badger. Like, they're cute, and they're, they kind of, like, keep to their own, but they will literally fight you to the death for something.
Yeah.
And that's about right.
So I want to get back onto this color fiasco problem that you have, because I think it's so funny, because if I would choose, I love Ravenclaw. I'm very proud of my house, and I like our colors, but sometimes I wish that I would just rep, like, the Hufflepuff, because I love how, like, happy and bright your merch can tend to be because of the yellow. So what, out of the other three houses, which colors would you prefer?
I would want Ravenclaws. I would want, like, blues and grays and blacks. Because it's the easiest to just, like, wear, and, like, no one's gonna notice, like, if you have a Ravenclaw crest. Like, people are just gonna look at that and be like, oh, that's a university. Like, they're gonna move on.
That's fair.
But, like, number one, we have a badger, so, like, that's pretty, like, that's already kind of, like, on the edge, but then it's gotta be yellow and black. So you look like a bumblebee, too. Like, it's just, they could have done the Hufflepuffs, like, a favor. And, like, it
Yeah,
just never
that's fair.
happened. It just didn't happen.
Just, like, cut them a break in some way.
Right. Anything. Like, you put their housing right over the kitchen. Like, you do all of these things and you can't give us a color that's going to work.
Right. You got to give them something.
We got nothing.
Yeah. Now you have Newt's Commander, so you can rest assured in that.
Yes, this is true. I mean, we did get amazing characters.
I will say Hufflepuff gets so much flack, but I'm so bitter about the characters that Ravenclaw got because we got Cho Chang, arguably a wet piece of cardboard, in my opinion.
She might as well have been.
No personality whatsoever. Doesn't contribute anything at all.
No, I never understood why she was there.
Same. Just to give Harry a love interest other than Ginny Weasley. That's it. Cedric Diggory, fight me on this. Hot take. He would have never liked her, okay? And I'm not just saying that because he would have loved me. I'm saying that because he is too interesting to like Cho Chang.
Agreed. I really think, if anyone, Cedric would have gone after someone a little more like Hermione.
Yes.
Like, he had such a good, like, he knew himself really well. And, like, he was willing to do a lot. And I just don't think he would just, like, go after someone who we literally had no background on. Who just, like, showed up for...
Who just shows up, yeah.
For what? I'm still not understanding, but...
Then we have Lockhart, which he sucks, too. Like, why claim him? And then the only redeeming character that we have to be proud of is Luna Lovegood. Like, thank God we have her, because we would literally have no one to claim. So at least you have Newt's Commander.
Yes.
Yeah. So now we're going to get into a part where I absolutely love, and it's our lightning round. So Jonathan is going to put 2 minutes on the clock, and I'm just going to go through randomized questions, and you can try your best to answer whatever comes first to your head. You can spit out, or you can say skip.
Okay? Yep.
All right, let's go. Jonathan, you good? All right, favorite Disney park?
Epcot.
Saddest Disney death?
Honestly, Ray really affected me.
Facts. Wishes or happily ever after?
Happily ever after.
Do you start in Mexico or Canada?
You start in Canada.
Oh, okay. Least favorite Disney film?
Probably Fox and the Hound. That one just, you don't abandon animals. Not cool.
Okay, fair. Okay, trivia. What short film featured Mickey Mouse's first appearance?
Steamboat Willie?
No, Plain Crazy.
Oh, that's right. That was before Steamboat Willie.
Yep. Least favorite Disney song?
I teach kindergarten. It's Let It Go.
That's fair. Okay, another trivia. Who was the only Disney main character who didn't talk throughout the entire film?
Aurora, right?
Close.
No, Sleeping Beauty. No, Jesus, that's the same person. Snow White.
No, Dumbo.
Wait, for real?
Yeah.
Dumbo's one of my favorites. I've never noticed he doesn't speak.
Probably because everybody else around him are a bunch of loudmouths.
That makes sense. My mom used to sing Baby Mine.
Oh, that is one of the first songs I learned how to play on the piano.
So good.
Favorite Harry Potter character?
Ron.
Oh, fair. I love Ron.
He's got the best sense of humor.
How are you feeling about the trivia questions? Do you want to try your hand?
I'm willing to go for it. Okay.
So when I asked Alessandra in her little guest questionnaire if there's anything else I should know about her. She said that she is Disney trivia extraordinaire status. So I want to take the lightning round and I want to use the trivia questions that we have. And I want to see how much you can get. So should we put another 2 minutes on the clock? And then if you don't know, just say skip.
Okay.
And then if you want to know any of them at the end, we can talk about them.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. So let's put another 2 minutes. Okay. Youngest Disney princess and how old she was.
15. Are we counting Pocahontas?
Yes.
15 and who's early? Was it Snow White?
Snow White is correct. She was 14.
14, okay.
So you're very close.
Still way too young.
Yeah, way too young.
Still creepy. Which
2 classic actresses inspired Belle's look?
Skip.
Who is the only Disney princess who isn't actually royalty?
Oh my God.
That's her buddy.
Isn't royalty. Would that be Cinderella?
No.
She married a prince?
It's technically Mulan.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Yes.
Who is the only Disney princess who was inspired by an actual person?
Was that Ariel?
Pocahontas.
Oh, okay.
Like an actual historical person. Which classic Disney princess has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame?
Cinderella.
Snow White.
They didn't give Cinderella a star, but they gave Snow White a star. I have opinions on that.
Look, I don't say Snow White deserves it. It's probably because she was the first one.
That's fair, but I don't like it.
Okay. Disney created an initial character which he illustrated for Universal Studios. When his request for a bigger budget was rejected, Walt left Universal. Okay, we'll finish this. And decided to create a new character since the company owned the rights to his original cartoon. Who was this cartoon who was later replaced by Mickey Mouse?
That was Oswald.
It is Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. We'll toss in another one for good measure. What was the last film that Walt Disney was able to work on before he died?
Oh my gosh. I'm going back to time frames. And I'm struggling. It was late 60s.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember. I'm sad. I want to know that one, though.
It was The Jungle Book.
Oh.
Any other ones that you want to know?
I wanted to know about Belle, because I had no clue.
Oh, yeah. It was Judy Garland and Julie Andrews.
Okay, that's fair.
A mix of both of them.
Yeah. Okay. That totally makes sense. Graceful like them.
Yeah. And for that time that Beauty and the Beast would have been being made. Okay, let's circle back to some of your lightning round questions because I loved some of the answers. I too would agree Happily Ever After. Before I saw Happily Ever After, I was like, wishes is everything to me. Fight me. And then Happily Ever After changed my life.
Yeah, it was like, oh, this can't get better. And then it did.
Yeah. Have you seen any like photos and videos of Enchantment?
No. I'm trying to think. I didn't see that one. I don't think it was out last time I was there.
No. The one that just came out for the 50th.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't remember the names of them half the time. No, I've seen pictures, but we're actually going on Saturday. So we're going. We can meet up. Like, meet me.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm about to crash your party. I'm literally about to make a park reservation, like, right after we get off.
We leave here like 5:30 on Saturday morning. My husband and my brother-in-law and I are going. My brother-in-law's never been. He's 24. He's never been to Disney World.
I love that for him.
This will only be my husband's third time. The first time my husband and I went, we got engaged. The second time was our honeymoon, and this will be his third time. So
that honestly is such a mood.
Well, like, getting engaged, like, you remember, because, like, you got engaged,
we got engaged
around.
very close to the same time. Yeah.
Within, like, 6 months, I think. So, like, you had gotten engaged, and then...
Because I remember you, like, asking me all these things, like, what
because I was ready.
Like, you were like, how can you put pressure on him?
Like, I was so done.
Him, like,
my husband's going to listen to this and be like, oh, she was that crazy. But I really was. I was so ready to be engaged and married to him. So, like, we went on a trip after college with my parents. And then, I think at that point I had bothered him enough to where, like, he understood and he, like, finally, like, got the assignment together.
Right.
And so he proposed there. He did not propose in front of the castle. That was something I made clear, like, please don't do that. Everyone does that. So he proposed to me in one of my favorite spots, which is, like, the walk by, like, the Swan and Dolphin and the Beach Club Resort.
Oh, yeah.
Like, right by the water. So he proposed there at sunset. So he did a good job. We still got that.
Oh, yeah. That's so nice.
Yeah. And he fell in love with Disney that trip. And then in our honeymoon, he was like, where do you want to go? And I was like, where do you want to go? And he suggested Disney. It was not my suggestion because I was trying.
Okay, Alessandra, we all know you were like, where do you want to go and why is it Disney?
I was trying not to make our honeymoon about me. But once he said, let's go to Disney for the honeymoon, there were no other options. We were going to Disney and we stayed there for 8 days.
Oh, wow. The dream, honestly.
We went all the way extra, as one should. So we'll be there this weekend. So, like, come hang out.
Well, then we will watch Enchantment and we'll put in a little excerpt on the screen of what Alessandra says about it.
There we go. Perfect.
Another question that I want to circle back to. It's a very hot take. And I love that it was just like duh for you. The fact that you start in Canada.
Okay, I truly don't understand why people would start in Mexico. Like,
that's like fighting words to some members in the Disney community.
Some people get so mad if you don't start in Mexico. Oh my God.
They really do.
But, like, you start in Canada. Canada, like, come on. Canada's, like, not the best. Why would you end there?
Okay, I mean, when you put it that way, that's true. You want to end on, like, a really big note. It's definitely Mexico Pavilion that's, like, bigger and...
The only way, and, like, even if you take the little ferry across and you go to America, right? Uh-huh. You still need to go around towards Canada and then go back towards Mexico. Because I would rather see the side between America and Canada twice than the other way. But, like, it's just can't, like, okay, they've got that one thing with Martin Short, that video. Like, you go and you watch that. It's the same. They have a great steak restaurant, but, like, not everyone's just gonna, like, go sit down. But, like, when you end in Mexico, when you get to go in and there's, like, music playing and there's shopping and it's dark, so it always feels like nighttime, which is, like, the most magical thing in the world to me that like Disney can make it nighttime during the day.
Yeah, just whenever they want to.
Why would I start in Canada?
That's fair. That's very fair. And I feel like people who would be very passionate that you said obviously we're starting in Canada would hear you out on that one.
Yeah, it's just like, and like I get there's stuff in between America and Canada that I would like to see more than once. That's fine. You can do that if you start in America. Go twice.
Yeah, that's fair. So what would you say is your favorite pavilion?
Well, I have like different favorites for different reasons, obviously, as always. But I think my favorite, just overall, the one that makes me the happiest is the Italy pavilion. My dad was born in Italy, so like, and we've never been to Italy. So like, it just kind of like feels good to like get that peace. And it's also like got really good memories. Like my dad, would tell me what the workers were saying. So my dad could understand.
That's adorable.
And I would be like, what are they saying? What are they saying? Like, because I'm like 12. And I'm like, what are they? And like, and I mean, you go into that pizza kitchen and every man in there just looks like a dreamboat. Literally. I will never forget Alessi from when I was 15. Oh my God. I fell in love with him right there. Blue eyes, blonde, had an Italian accent.
Definitely the most beautiful pavilion, in my opinion. Like, stunning pavilion. Yeah. I'm glad that you brought up, like, going with your dad and, like, referencing, like, going as a kid, because I would love to hear about your first time that you went to Disney.
So, the first time I went to Disney, I was 4. It was my 4th birthday party. And it was,
so cute.
It was the best. It was my, 4th birthday, but it was also one of my cousin's birthday on my mom's side. Her birthday's the 30th. Mine's the 31st of October. So like we're Halloween babies.
I love that.
So we went at Halloween. So like I remember the big pumpkins and stuff. And that's why I'm so excited to go. This is my first October trip since I was 4.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm so excited to like see the big pumpkin and things like that because I remember that really vividly. And we went with all of my cousins basically. So my mom is one of 8, so I've got like 1,000 people on that side. But we went with my Aunt Yvonne and her kids, my Aunt Jenny and her boy, who's 5 weeks older than me. We went with my dad's sister, her 2 kids who had a birthday. One of them had a birthday a week before me. So like everybody was celebrating like kids' birthdays and stuff. And it was just like the best. Like I just remember having so much fun. I remember in Germany, I bought a doll that I still have. And like there's certain things like that I remember. But again, I was 4. So the next time I went, I was actually 11. And my mom thinks one of my funniest things I've probably ever said was when I saw the teacup ride. I looked at my dad and I said, "Can we go on that? You wouldn't let me last time." And my mom was like, "That was 7 years ago."
Yeah, like how it like was such a pivotal memory that your dad wouldn't let you go.
Core memory here, you did not take me on the teacups as a 4-year-old. And my dad hates spinning. Like he'll go and rockin' with me, like no problems with like big rides, but like you spin the man and he is nauseous for the rest of the day. So it is like, it was just so funny to me. And he like held it to where I couldn't spin it. And like he was just like, we will go on it, but we are not spinning while spinning. That's not happening. Like he shut that down entirely. But yeah, I mean, I just remember like so much fun of like being 4 and with all of my cousins. Like I don't really remember being with the adults. I just remember like being with my cousins.
Yeah, I bet that was so, like, honestly magical being with, like, that many members of your family, that close in age, and, like, basically having the run of the mill of Disney.
Pretty much. And like, and my grandparents were there. Like, it was just like, it was all the adults were watching us enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
But like,
Mm-hmm.
the oldest one was 7 years older than me. And I was 4. So like, even she was a kid. And so it's like, it's so funny now. Like, she's got like 3 kids and like, we all like have these different lives. But like, for that moment, she was just my older cousin and we were just hanging out in Disney World.
Yeah, that's so fun. I bet those memories from that trip are so special.
The costumes were also incredibly special. My mom made my costume.
Wait, y'all dressed up?
Oh, we had to. Hello.
Oh, that
Mickey's
is
Not So Spooky
Oh,
Halloween
that's true.
Party.
It was
real.
Halloween.
Yes.
That's true. It wasn't just a normal trip
Yeah,
to
no,
Disney.
we weren't
I mean, don't get me wrong. I was wearing costumes my first trip to Disney, too.
Oh, yeah,
and it was,
100%.
like,
Yeah.
January.
Yeah.
Like...
No, but we all went, my little cousin was a Dalmatian, and Cruella de Vil, like, came up to him, and I, like, blocked the stroller. I was like, no, ma'am. You don't mess with my baby Joey. Like, because he was a little nugget. He was like 1, I think, when we went. And I was like, you will not. And his sister, like, full on got in Corella's face and was like, don't touch my brother.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was the best. It was the best. I was a butterfly. I remember my mom worked on that costume for so long. She made the entire thing out of felt and jewels. And
oh my
I was
gosh.
a butterfly, so like she made the full cape, and the cape had Mickey heads, like hidden Mickeys on it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's so cute. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So why would you say Disney is special to you? Like, what about Disney is so special to you?
I think a lot of it has to do with like my parents making it special. Like, it was just that place where we could go, and that was it. Like, there was no other problems. If I wanted something, like, my parents were really good about just being like, yeah, you can get a churro. Like, sure. And so I think a lot of that, like, it was basically like a yes day of everything. But then inside of that, like, Disney makes magic actually happen. And like, when you're already, like, I was kind of an anxious kid, like, I was an anxious kid. And I think so much of it was just like their purpose was to put joy into the world. And like, you don't have to worry about anything else. And I think I just like grasped onto that in the most incredible way and just was like holding on to it for dear life sometimes. But like, they made magic real. And like, you just can't beat it. Like, it's just so special.
Yeah. So how would you say that feeling has translated into your adult love of Disney?
I think it's kind of the same thing. Like, I can go there and like everything's just taken care of. And like, I just think it's one of those things where like, I can just go there and relax and I can escape. And like, yeah, dissociating's not super healthy, whatever. But like, sometimes you need that break from your brain. And I think Disney's always been that break for me.
Yeah.
And like, you can watch a Disney movie, you know you're going to feel good at the end. You can, and like, things connect in such special ways there that like, you just like, it's like someone finally took the extra step and gave you what you needed that you didn't know you needed. And like, Disney does that with everything. Like, there's always that extra step that they go to.
Yeah.
And there's nothing. I have a funny story about the extra step if you have time. Okay, so...
we have plenty of time.
So my husband, proposed to me at Disney. My husband is he's also an anxious person. He is vomit adverse. We'll call it that. So that's important to this story. So, and it's so important to the story. Just wait. So we're there.
I can't wait to hear where this is going if that's the setup.
We're in Disney. It's the third day. We had a 5-day trip. It's the third day.
This is the trip that he proposed.
Yes. He has not proposed yet.
Okay.
And I'm trying to stay calm, but that's just not who I am. So...
Did you know that it was probably going to happen on that trip, or you were just hoping?
I had a feeling, but I wasn't going to put all of my hope in it. So I was like, okay, gotcha. It'll probably happen here, because he knows better than to not. But I was, at that point, I was not... I was just not trying to do that. John is killing me laughing at you, Mom. I'm real blunt. I'm real yeah. So he knew. And so I think I had that feeling, but it was the third day. And I was like, what the hell is happening?
Yeah.
So that night, and also we're sharing a room with my parents because Disney's flipping expensive. So
yeah, absolutely.
We have 2 queen beds. My parents are in one bed. We're in the other bed. And I woke up the sickest I've ever been.
Oh, and no, not at Disney.
That was my entire thought. The entire time I was throwing up, that was all I could think of was, you're at Disney World. What the hell are you doing? Get up.
You need to rally.
Right. That's exactly how I was. I was so sick for 4 hours. At one point, Chris put his hand on my shoulder when I went back to bed. And I told him please don't touch me. Because I was that motion sick from being sick so much that I was just I was not well. Had I gotten sick one more time, I was ready to go to the hospital. I was
oh my gosh,
incredibly sick. We don't know what it was. It could have been food. It could have been a culmination of how what we were eating. Because you really gotta watch it in Disney. Because it's a lot of rich food and it's a lot of sugar.
Yeah, and it's a lot of heat, and you're not drinking as much water, and you're sweating so much. There's so many factors that just throw you off when you're at Disney.
You really need to track. But I was on full on ring watch, so I was not paying attention to what I was eating at all. Mm-hmm. And so Chris, being vomit adverse, was not handling my being sick at all. He actually slept on the patio of our hotel room. So yeah, so
that's hilarious.
He could not handle it. He was and he was getting so anxious, and I don't blame him. He really does get anxious. It's not anything he can control.
Yeah.
But he left. He was out. He was outside. It's May. He's sleeping on the patio. So, he's warm.
Right.
He's, it's May. It's not hot, but it's warm.
Right.
And my mom and dad are taking care of me. And my dad looks at my mom and goes, "Where's Chris?" They know he's going to propose.
This boy is about to propose to my daughter. And he can't help her while she's vomiting up her organs. He's asleep on the patio.
Yes. And my mom looked at my dad and said, "He's outside." And my dad was just how is this going to work? Because That's my go-to being sick. Like, you know how some people, like, always have stomach... Like, I just... Like, if I'm sick, I'm just going to throw up, and then I'm going to be fine. Well...
Yeah, for sure.
Right. Like, that's just how I am, and that was fine with me. Chris doesn't handle it the same way.
Not fine with Chris.
Little did I know, Chris would be proposing that next day. So I am so sick. My alarm goes off at 8. Now, I've only had like 4 hours of sleep at this point. My alarm goes up at 8.
Right.
And I'm still feeling bad. But I am so upset that, like, I'm missing my fast passes and stuff. And my dad's just like, your day's going to get better. It's fine. Your day's going to get better. And I'm just like, I literally want to die. So I go back to sleep. We wake up at 11 and I'm like, I feel better.
Uh-huh.
We're going to go. Like, we're going to go. And my dad was like, absolutely not. And I was like, no, like, I'm feeling better. And my dad was like, you need to be hydrated. Like, this is not okay. He goes down to the front office. They went and got me Pedialyte. Like, the people at the front desk went out, got me Pedialyte, and brought it up to our room. And because my dad goes down and he's like, my little girl is sick. And then my dad was like, let me rephrase that. My 22-year-old is sick.
My 20-year-old little girl is sick.
My adult child who is here with her soon-to-be fiance is sick.
Getting proposed to today, FYI.
Right. So they go get me Pedialyte. I drink the Pedialyte, and I'm like, now can we get on the road? Like, it is already 11:30. We need to be in Animal Kingdom 4 hours ago. Like, let's move. And I rallied, and I was fine for the rest of the day. And I was just like, this is amazing. I lost my phone in Animal Kingdom that day. I left it by the gorillas. It was fine. We found it. Thank goodness for tracking, because my dad, my mom, and my husband, like, we all tracked each other for that trip. So, like, my parents could, like, go off and do stuff, whatever they wanted, and then I could be like, oh, they're in Animal Kingdom. Like, that's fine.
Right.
So, yeah, I lost my phone by the gorillas, and then Chris and I go back to the hotel room to, like, relax for a minute, and then we go for a walk, and he proposes. I was stunned he proposed after I threw up for, like, hours, because for sure, after that, I was like, it's not happening this trip. It's fine. Like, after that, I was like, okay, like, if I expected it beforehand, it was not going to happen after.
Chris is like, will you marry me? And Alessandra's like, no. Are you sure you want to marry me after?
And that's pretty much what everyone's reaction was like, you still proposed after that? Like, so that's how I know
also,
he really loves me.
Yeah, fair.
Because, oh man, he slept on the patio the night before he proposed to me.
Can we talk about how anxious it makes me that he waited 3 days into your trip? And, like, what if you really did go to the hospital? Like, then he blew a whole Disney trip by waiting.
So afterwards, I asked him, I was like, what were you doing waiting till the third day? Like, what in your brain did not say propose immediately?
Oh my gosh.
And he goes, I know, because this is his first trip, mind you. He goes, I know y'all said that, like, y'all don't go back to the hotel room, but I didn't know you meant it. He had no idea.
He didn't bring the ring.
No. First 2 days, he was going to go back to the hotel room because he didn't want to lose it. He was petrified of losing it. And I mean, look at it. It's gorgeous. Who wouldn't be petrified of losing it? But, like, he was so scared of losing it, he left it in the hotel room. He was like, I didn't know we were doing full 14-hour days of never going back to the hotel room. And I was like, no, we don't play. We leave and we come back at night. Like, the hotel room is there to sleep
You sleep when you're dead, Chris.
Yes, literally. And he was like, I had no idea how serious y'all were. And I was like, we told you.
That is such like a Disney newbie.
Oh, yeah, 100%. He just he was like, I had no idea that you fully meant that, like, you sleep in the hotel room. If you're awake, you're at a park.
That is so funny. Oh my gosh. So why do you think Disney is so important to so many people?
I think because it's so personal. Like, there's something for everyone that's going to make it personally their thing. And I think because Disney goes above and beyond like that, like going to get me Pedialyte. And they also, like, once, because the next morning, the same lady asked me how I'm feeling. And my dad's like, show her how good you're feeling. And I showed her my ring. And I was like, I'm feeling fantastic. And she started laughing, and she gave us all, like, unlimited fast passes for the rest of the day. And, like, they do that kind of magic. Yeah. And even if you can't go to Disney, there's going to be a movie that reminds you of your grandma or of your best friend from elementary school. And, like, I think because it's so vast, there's something personal that hits every type of person. And so you're going to get a ton of people, like, just enamored by it. And once you're in, man, it's a black hole. It just sucks you in farther and farther.
It really does, honestly. Relatable. Okay, so let's end on a question that I think is one of my favorites to ask. I always think it gets the most fun responses. And you can answer this question in multiple different ways. And if you want to share each way, go for it. But I would like to know a time. Describe a time in your life that you thought to yourself, this is the most basic thing I have ever done. That can be just in your life in general, or at Disney, or both. You could tell us a time of both.
Most of my days are pretty basic. Yeah, so I teach kindergarten. I wear funky
clothes. Which is pretty basic in and of itself.
Like, just, if you imagine your kindergarten teacher in their 20s, like, you get me. You get the funky outfits with the big earrings. But then within Disney, you get the basic artist out of me, where I will spend hours drawing different designs for t-shirts and then converting them to SVG files and then making them into t-shirts that my husband, my brother-in-law, and I will rotate so that we each wear a different one of them every day. I brought my ears in here to show you. I brought my ears to show you guys the 2 that I bought for this trip, and I only bought 2. I wanted to buy 4, but ears are expensive when you want good quality.
They are.
And my lovely husband, who is also my financial advisor, I'm not allowed to be in charge of money. It's for the best. We have money that way. When I'm not in charge of it, we have it. So he said your limit is 2 if you're going to spend that much money on one. So these are like my birthday ears.
Those are stunning.
These are based off of Sleeping Beauty, but, like, obviously, like, the gorgeous version of Sleeping Beauty. And
those are absolutely stunning. Like, I need to know where you got them.
It was a cute name for an Etsy shop. Let me see. Because I thought the name was super cute. It was like Fairy Sisters something. Let's see. It was Fairy God Sisters. So I think it's 2 sisters that run their business. But yes, so this is one pair. And then these were like my fall pair because they're just like this beautiful velvet pumpkin color.
I love. Well, if you want to shop on the ear wall when you come and visit this weekend, you're more than welcome to.
I am a big fan of ears. Not so much the prices of the quality ones, but
Yeah.
Quality over quantity, always.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty basic in all the ways.
I love that.
And when you mix my type A teacher personality, you really get...
That's a pretty
you get to go,
combination.
You get to go real hard in the basic when it's...
Well, we celebrate the basic here at, obviously, Bibbidi Bobbidi Basics.
So glad.
Thank you so much for being on the pod, Alessandra. It was so fun reconnecting, and yeah, I'm so glad that you were able to come on here and tell us how much you love Disney.
Yeah, and I'll see you this weekend.
Yeah, just look out for the IG stories of us partying at Disney. Well, thank you so much for coming on again, and I'm super excited for them to hear this episode.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This was fun.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to follow the pod and let me know what you thought of today's episode. All of our links are in the show notes and description box down below, and if you're listening to today's episode, please give us a rate and review, and don't forget to include your Instagram handle to be featured as our basic of the week. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. I upload new episodes on Wednesday and other videos for more Magic Mondays. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Until then, Basics, stay magical.